What's up, guys? Do we have anybody in the chat today? It's okay. Give me a second here. Tonight, let's hang out, watch one of my favorite movies. Let's drop in some Heat. How many of you guys have checked out Heat on digital 4K? I know some of you guys got it in 4K, because I see some of your pictures on Facebook and all that. But I don't have my switcher, so I'll have to like switch my camera back and forth every time I do something. But today we're gonna be watching Heat. I got it on 4K. Hold on, let me swing my camera around. Sorry, no AB switch. So I am in the living room today. Right now we've got the movie playing on. Movie's gonna be playing on the 85-inch X95K, just in case anybody was wondering what display I was using. So we're not going to be in the theater today. I can't be in the theater because it's about 98 degrees in there, even though it's only maybe like 70 degrees outside. But can't really keep that on there too long, or else I'll get a copyright strike. So let me just swing that back around here. But I have been hearing that a lot of folks are a little surprised that it was a bit dark. I look like I'm fat sitting down here. But yeah, man, I've been waiting for this movie to come on physical media for a long time on 4K. I mean, I've had it on the Kaleidoscape for a while. And the Kaleidoscape looks exactly the same as what's on physical media. So I mean, that's been out for like what, 4 or 5 years so far. It's also been on digital for like a few years too, like 4 or 5 years too. Because I remember I had done the original review back in like 2016, 17. I did the iTunes review, and I did this goofy thumbnail on it because Brass Tacks told me I should probably put my face on the thumbnail to get more views. So that was one of the first thumbnails I did where I put my face on it. So yeah, I did that in iTunes. That was back in like 2016, 17. Back then, I even thought it was dark, and this looks the same. I'm a little surprised it took them this long to put it on physical media, since, I mean, there's really no change at all. And let's just show you guys the menus right now. Like, this is just the menus. That is, of course, the Emotiva XMC2. I have an Emotiva XPA7. That's Grogu. That's a Lego Jeep. That's a little giraffe that my wife has. And that is a Martin Logan SLM center channel speaker. So this is on ISO auto, but let me take it off auto because it's going to artificially brighten it up to make it look really weird. That's going to look really blown out. So this is about what it looks like in real life, in person. So that is about how dim it is for real. And this is just the menu. So it is a really dark movie. And yes, the blacks are that black. But Yeah, let's swing them back around. I don't want to get in trouble. All right. Now you can't even see me. There we go. Whoops. All right, so is that an 85x95K? This is an 85x95K. That is my official 4K review TV. I wanted to pick up the best, what I thought was the best 4K HDR display that I could get that was not an OLED, because I personally think that OLEDs are too dim to really do justice for HDR. Sorry for all of you OLED guys out there. Despite OLED winning the TV shootout over the weekend, unfortunately there are no QD OLEDs in 85 inches, not yet. Maybe next year or the year after, but as of right now, the winner for me was going to be the Sony X95. I wanted to pick up the I thought about picking up the X9, sorry, the Z9K, but that is an 8K display, and I didn't want to go with an 8K display because I didn't want it to like artificially upscale everything that I was watching, because that might make everything look better than it actually is. So I went for Sony's best 4K LED, mini LED, which is this TV here, the X95K. Previously, I did have the X900, the X900F, which I got back in like 2017. So I hadn't upgraded my TV in a few years, and I think this is a worthy successor. This was definitely probably, I think this was like the brightest 4K display next to the X95, what is it, X95S? Whatever Sony's QD OLED was. So that's why I picked this up instead. Man, let me just pause this and show you. This is the intro. This is the intro to the movie. Now I'll swing it around in a second here. What's up, Fred? What's up, Fred 215? Who do we got? We got Cinema Lord. What's going on, Cinema Lord? Patrick Williams. It will be the definitive Blu-ray version at $6 instead of $30. I mean, this wasn't a surprise that it looks this way, because it's looked this way. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of the movie, you most likely bought this on digital, and this looks exactly the same as it does on digital, so it's really not a surprise. It's pretty much, I'm going to say digitals, maybe like 95, 96, 97% of the time, they look exactly like the physical disc. The sound is different for sure, because it's uncompressed and it's lossy, but listen, I think most of the folks out there have digital movies, and I mean, my bad, most of the folks out there have television sets that are like, what's like one of the most popular sizes, like 75 inch, maybe 85 inch at the largest. And for me, even at 85 inches, it's really hard to tell a physical disc next to a digital stream. And if you're telling me you can really tell a difference, you're probably, I know you're lying, because it's very hard to tell. The only thing that's easy to tell somewhat is if you're watching a disc that's HDR10 and then a digital stream that's Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision, typically, I find, usually looks better on the digital stream than a physical disc does, because usually the black levels are better on it. The highlights typically look better, and I thought that was going to be a little bit, hard to pick out. But when I was comparing Doctor Strange 2 to the Disney Plus stream, which is in Dolby Vision next to the physical media, like the shadows were just way better on the Disney Plus stream over the physical disc. So, listen, some of you physical media guys out there, man, the Dolby Vision streams, sometimes they just trump. Sometimes they just look better than the physical disc. You know, compression-wise and all that, sure, the physical disc is going to be better, but I mean, sometimes these digital Dolby Vision streams, they will reveal better detail in the shadows. I know some of you guys hate to hear that, but it's true. Which 4K Blu-ray is better, Goodfellas or Heat? Which is better, Goodfellas or Heat? That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to give it to Heat. Goodfellas is super grainy, if I recall correctly. This is a much crisper, it's a much cleaner looking image. I mean, if you like the grainy image, then no, you probably like Goodfellas better. But if you really want detail and like sharpness and clarity, then Heat definitely wins for sure. But if you really want some brightness, I do believe Goodfellas is a brighter transfer than Heat. Which movie is better? I'm gonna have to pick Heat. They're pretty close though. But here, let me show you this scene right here. Actually, you could just pretty much pause it anywhere, and it's just dark. Actually, I'll just wait. I don't think you guys want to see Pacino in the shower. Is there any blooming issues on the 65-inch X95K? Well, they did issue an update, I'm going to say about a month ago, that did address some of the blooming issues on the X95K. Did it do it on the 65-inch? I know it addressed some blooming on my set, which is the 85-inch. But from what I had seen at the TV shootout, I saw very minimal blooming. Like I'm gonna say pre-update, it was pretty bad. I mean, I think there's a video floating out there that shows the 65-inch blooming horrendously. And honestly, it wasn't, like when I saw it in person, it wasn't that far off from whatever that video showed. After the update, at least from what I saw at the shootout, I didn't see too much blooming, really, if any. I wasn't looking that hard at the X95K at the shootout, but from what I did see, it wasn't as bad as what it looked like pre-update. So, and also the same thing with mine, the 85-inch. There was maybe like one or two shows or movies that I saw some noticeable blooming on. After the update, it was greatly diminished. So I'm just going to take a guess and say that there still is blooming on the 65-inch, although it definitely has been cut down drastically. Plan on checking out Prey, getting good reviews. Wish it had a theater release. Yeah, I can't wait to check out Prey. I've heard nothing but good reviews about Prey. I don't think I've heard a single negative review about Prey. You know, despite everybody saying that it's going to be woke trash and that why is there a female lead? Just a lot of negativity towards that movie. I thought the trailer looked pretty good. That's why I posted it on my channel, because I thought it was a pretty decent looking, sequel to the original Predator. So obviously everybody's been doing their early looks, and yeah, it's been getting some killer reviews. I hear it's gory. I hear it's the best since the original Predator, which is hard to believe. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out, either Thursday night late or Friday. Unfortunately, I think if you're in the US, then I think the only way we can watch it in the US is with Hulu. And at least from my plan, I don't think I've seen Dolby Vision or Atmos in my Hulu app, because I checked a couple movies today. I know I watched The Princess recently, which is only in 4K 5.1. I watched that movie Not Okay today with Zoe Deutsch and Dylan O'Brien. Kind of funny, kind of like a dark comedy. that was only in 4K, no HDR, 5.1. So I don't know if you need to have a premium plan to get Dolby Vision, but I don't know if there's going to be a theater locally that I can watch it in Atmos. It's going to be kind of tough to watch in Dolby Vision with Atmos at home, especially on Hulu. I know, like overseas, I know I was talking to Brass Tacks. He gets it on Disney Plus over in the UK, and I guess it's going to be on Dolby Vision and Atmos over in the UK. So I'm a little disappointed that Hulu, at least for me, not Dolby Vision. But yeah, man, I am definitely looking forward to it. Disney Plus is getting Prey too. I think that's only across the pond, Fred. Could be mistaken on that, but I'll check. Hey Shane, least expensive receiver to buy a 4K upgrade and least expensive processor you would recommend? I think the least expensive processor would be probably that Emotiva. I think it's like $1,000. I think it's like $999. But the least expensive receiver, man, you can get Sony's for like $199. That's not. You can go to Best Buy, get it for like $200. But I think the least expensive processor, $1,000, maybe cheaper if you can get it like used. Maybe if you have an outlet, maybe like $800. But don't forget, you still need to buy amplifiers, so you're looking at about $2,000 in. So right now we are at the first robbery here with the truck underneath the underpass. And this is the part that I said in the review that it looked like it was overcast. I'll try to find a good scene here. I'll spin it around so you guys can see what this transfer looks like. That's obvious. That's not what it looks like. So let me get it as close as possible. All right. So that's basically what it looks like. It's pretty dark, man. I don't know why it's so dim like that. I feel like my ISO still kind of bumped up, but that's what it looks like though. Oh man. I wish I had the Blu-ray that I can queue up next to it, but I don't. Yeah, when I was watching that scene, I A and B'd it with the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is just like so much brighter. But you can definitely tell the difference between how sharp and clearer the 4K version is. You know, it's not like a drastic difference, but there's definitely a difference there. Looks dark, LOL, what TV are you using? That would be the X95K. Makes your X95K look OLED dim. Yeah, this definitely looks like an OLED. DC has better Atmos than Marvel movies. I'm trying to think of a standout. I think maybe the best Marvel movie that I can recall, maybe Endgame. I think Endgame was pretty good sounding Marvel movie. Doctor Strange is pretty good too. Oh, well, Doctor Strange 2 is actually pretty good. But yeah, no doubt. DC, Warner Brothers always does a good job on their 4K releases. I think, Disney did this release for Heat, and unfortunately, it didn't get an update in Atmos. So I guess they really didn't like remaster it, like really rework it from whatever 4K versions were out there already. Because even the Kaleidoscape version is still DTS 5.1, and of course the digital streams are 5.1 too. But yeah, there. Hold on, let me pause this. Let me pause this scene here. Here's a scene where it's like so dark. Listen, this is with my ISO like jacked up to 1280. Well, my bad, 12,800. That's with 12,800. So that's like an abnormally high ISO. It's even making my little play button bloom. But in all right, so in real life it looks basically like that. So that's what it looks like in real life. And it's like you can only see the man's eyes. Actually, that's brighter than what it looks like in real life. Yeah, there we go. So this is ISO 2000. Even 2000 is pretty bright. And that is the shot before he gets blown away. Yeah, that's crazy. It's pretty crazy. And like, if you guys have seen the movie, you know there's plenty of scenes that are that dark. Like when the guys are at the restaurant eating, it looks like that. When they're outside casing the joint, when Pacino's outside on top of the roof or whatever. No, he's not on the roof. He's inside the truck, and they're watching on the monitors. Man, it's so dark. How does the A95K look in person? The A95K look damn good. It unfortunately is only 65 inches, so too small for me. But yeah, definitely one of the best TVs I've seen in a while. Especially one of the brighter, definitely like the brightest OLEDs I've seen. Like I could see the attraction to the QD OLEDs, and yeah, that thing was just as bright as the X95K. I mean, if that thing came in an 85 inch, there's a pretty good chance I may have to get myself a QD OLED at 85 inches whenever that size comes out. I saw a reviewer say stick with Blu-ray, don't upgrade. Would I say don't upgrade? Man, is that a tough one? It's clearly the resolution in heat is clearly better. It is better. It's definitely better. It's got better detail. It is a cleaner image. The grain is also, I mean, I said it in the review, the grain is also more consistent. I'm going to say it's not as grainy as the standard regular Blu-ray. Like it's just a nice thin sheet of very fine grain over the whole thing, whereas the regular Blu-ray is, you know, it's noisier. There's like bigger, it's got a larger grain structure to it, and it almost looks like mosquito noise, you know, if we're talking about like video terms. So it's just noisier, like the grain is noisier on the Blu-ray. This is definitely better. This is just, if this was brighter, they could just like up the gamma on this. It made it look a little bit closer to the Blu-ray as far as brightness, then this would be a winner. But yeah, man, like I could see the pores on Jon Voight's, I mean not his pores, I could see the stubble on Jon Voight's face here when he's talking to De Niro, and a little bit harder to tell on the Blu-ray. Yeah, it's for sure, it's a better looking, you know, if you want some more detail and you don't mind the dark image, it's the way to do it. If you want a brighter image, then, you know, stick with the Blu-ray. Blu-ray's not that bad. Still a good looking Blu-ray, no doubt. But this has definitely better resolution. It's just, man, it's just the dark scenes are so dark. Between Rel subs and JL subs, what would you recommend for a home theater setup? Because I got some rails and I'm considering on changing it to JL. Rail or JL, I don't know. JL never hits me up for for review samples. They're just kind of hard to find, hard to get a hold of. And you know, honestly, I've only had like Rel's entry-level subwoofers. I've never had their better offerings. For some reason, they just don't want to send me the good stuff. They send me their entry-level, the HT brand. I mean, I got their T9X here still, but that's more of an audio subwoofer. It's not really a home theater subwoofer because it's only like a little 10-incher. But they've got some new models coming out, which is going to be in their upper end stuff. So they're supposedly supposed to send me some of those. So I'm gonna hold my reservations about how their high end subs perform, because their HT line is pretty good for the money. It's really good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only JL subs I've heard the Gotham, which is their dual 12, and that thing rocked. But I heard two of them. This was in like a super high-end audio room with some Wilson speakers, and yeah, those are pretty crazy. Those Gotham subs were like, they reminded me of the Per Listen subs and like how big they were and like the build quality. I have not heard the high-end Rel subs yet, so sorry, I can't give you a definitive answer on that one. I'm on the fence about it. I want the whole package. Well, I suppose if you want to like bump your brightness on your TV, maybe like, you know, put on like advanced contrast enhancer, you can maybe make it look better, but it kind of defeats the purpose of having, you know, like a calibrated TV. Like, you shouldn't have to change your TV settings to accommodate a movie. It should just, you know, look good straight out the box. Are you going to get the Heat sequel book? I'm not going to get the Heat sequel book because I don't read any books. Would you run Denon 3700 or separates for a 524 system? Front stage is clips and 8-inch clips in walls for the bed layer. Well, I would always go with separates. The silly question. I would always do separates. Always save your spare change. Always get some separates. When's the JVC review dropping? I don't even know. Maybe in a few weeks. Maybe next month. It's still pretty hot in my theater right now, so I can't do anything right now. Partially why I'm sitting in my living room, because I don't have AC in my office. I don't have AC in my theater. So, we're hanging out in the living room today. Bro watches mids at home. Okay. But right now we are at the scene where they're at the diner, and he just bashed my man's head in front of the table. I'll tell you what, man, no matter what part you end up in this movie, it's just, there's something good going on at all times. Like Val Kilmer has never been better. So good in this movie too. Tom Sizemore. I don't know what happened to Tom Sizemore. I think he got caught up with some hookers or something like that, right? After this movie, and like he just kind of like fell off. You know what's funny is like I watch this movie so many times per year. I must watch this movie like 3-4 times a year, like all the way through. And I've seen it so many times per year that every time I watch something new that comes out with the De Niro or Pacino in it, it just kind of, it's weird because like they're old, they're almost 80 years old now, and when I see them, I'm like, Jesus. I was like, you guys got old super quick, even though I've watched this movie so many times every year that it's almost like in my brain they don't age. And then when I see them like in an interview or Meet the Fockers or something like that, then I'm like kind of reminded, yeah, man, this movie's that old where these guys have actually gotten super old. US 4K Ultra HD collectors are special. I have a Panasonic 820. I probably could do something there. What is your opinion on the Nakamichi 924 soundbar? I have not heard that soundbar. They were going to send it to me maybe a couple years ago when it first came out, but I don't know what happened. They went with another reviewer, and they kind of left me out in the cold. So I've not been able to check it out. Check that soundbar out, unfortunately. I know a lot of people like it because I get asked that question like every day, but I don't know, man. I have no idea what it sounds like. I mean, it has like those, well, like dual 10-inch subs, and it's got like what? It's basically a home theater with the soundbar driving everything. I mean, you get what? You get the soundbar, 2 sides, 2 backs, 2 subs. Yeah, it's a home theater in a box. The gun battle scene is amazing for the sound alone. Oh no, look at this. Yeah, man, the street shootout. You know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when they shot that scene in LA, they had some sound mixers do some like artificial gun sounds. But I guess man decided to keep the actual sounds of the gun shooting rather than having it done with effects afterwards, which obviously paid off because it sounds awesome. Still, I can't think of another shootout that sounds better than this movie. And this movie is so old. This came out in 1995. I think Nolan even did an homage to it in The Dark Knight at the beginning. I mean, even the music is pretty much the same as what was in this movie. Do you prefer watching movies on a projector or 4K TV? Well, clearly the best way to watch a movie is going to be on a projector. TVs are nice. I mean, I got this TV because I got it just as like to cross-check. Like if I'm reviewing a movie, I always like to watch it in the theater first, and then I always like to make sure that it looks the same as it does on the TV, because sometimes I might think it looks dimmer on the projector, and then I'll come back to the TV because it's much brighter. I'm gonna say, like, I can't think of one movie that I've thought the TV was noticeably brighter than the projector was. There's not one movie that really just like was like, wow, I need to be on the television set. Of course, it really depends on what projector you have, but I've never had like a big discrepancy between the projector and the TV. Of course, you'd want to get the projector because it's much bigger and it's more immersive, but I basically just have the TV just so I can double check to make sure what I'm seeing is correct on the projector. And this is definitely one of those movies that makes you think, maybe my projector is not calibrated properly. Let me double check what's going on in the TV. And we'll swing this back around. This is with Pacino having a talk with his girlfriend after he gets off of work. That is ISO 200. Here we go. This is what it looks like in real life. This is at an ISO 1000. Just take this off. And you can see that Pacino kind of blends in with the background. You know what I'm saying? He kind of blends in. There is that TV that's on the countertop. Like, if you didn't know that was a TV on the countertop, you probably wouldn't know what that black box was. Pacino also blends in with the window in the background as well. So there's a window there, there's some green trees outside of the window, but he kind of disappears into that back corner. So that's another dark scene that makes it kind of hard to see what's happening. You know, when he's like, she's got a great ass. What's your setup gear in that room? I've got the Emotiva XMC2. I got the Emotiva XPA7. I've got a Revon 4K player. The what is it? The 2000 or 1600 or something. And I got me a Panamax battery backup thing, and another Panamax surge thing, surge protector. I think it's like the 5100, no, 5300. And then I have a Zidu 1000 media player and an Apple TV. So that's what's in the living room. The Top Gun Maverick with Atmos. That should be coming out soon. I mean, I would assume it's going to come out probably end of the month, if not early next month. But yeah, I can't wait to see it again. I mean, I've seen it twice already. I saw it over here in the Dolby Cinema, and then I saw it again on the, what is it, 40X? Yeah, I saw it again on 40X, which is cool. I like the 40X. Like, it made a lot of sense because those seats moved a lot with the airplane. Battery backup. So, like, if power cuts, you can keep watching your movie. That's true. I do have the battery backup, but it only lasts, man, it only lasts for a couple minutes. Like, it gives you enough time to turn everything off, you know, if you get a power surge. It's only, you know, it's only like 17 inches. It's a little Panamax thing. But yeah, sometimes in the middle of the night when it's like super hot, or if it's raining, or there's a storm outside and the power cuts off, it'll beep so you know that the power is cut off. It'll just be like deep, 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 deep. Right now we are at Neil meeting his girl for the first time at the diner, where she's asking him about his rocks. So I'm waiting for my daughter to fall asleep so I can watch The Thing for the first time. I haven't seen The Thing in decades. And your setup in that room, Dolby Atmos. The setup in this room is not Dolby Atmos. John, clearly you don't watch any of my speaker reviews. Clearly you've not seen a single one of my speaker reviews. But no, it's only 5.1 in here. No Atmos in this room. Top Gun Maverick is going to be 4K of the year, it looks like. Man, is that going to be 4K of the year? Huh. I don't know. I don't think so, because I've seen it in pretty good theater. I saw it in a pretty good theater, and I don't recall it ever blowing my mind either time that I've seen it. So I'm not anticipating it to look spectacular at the house. I could be wrong, but I'm not anticipating that. Oh man, you got to see this scene here. Yeah, this is a tough one. Yeah, this scene's a tough one. The first time I saw this, I was like, what is happening? I was like, yo, what is happening in this scene? Like, if you didn't see this, if you've never seen this movie before, you'd be like, yo, what the hell's happening right now? Hold on, let me bump that ISO a little bit. This is where they are out on the balcony, and that's what it looks like in person. You know, they're overlooking the city. Neil's outside with his new girlie, and if you have never seen this movie, you might be saying to yourself, what the hell is going on? Like, where are they? It's so dark. It is like so dark. Whoops. That's not even like the worst of it either. That's the funny thing. Let me turn the ISO up again. That is super dark, man. It's super black. Listen, it's still a good movie. I can overlook the darkness because I like the movie so much. But damn, man. Like, what they do to it. Will we ever get AK signal like from London Olympics, Rio Olympics, and Tokyo Olympics still? Although record and broadcast in AK, still not available. I know they got the ATSC 3.0 tuners in the new sets. Which, is that AK compatible or what? Let me see. Because I think ATSC is 3.0 is supposed to be either AK or 4K. No, capable of 4K and HDR. Alright. Yeah, ATSC 3.0 is capable of 4K HDR picture resolutions as well as advanced Dolby audio. I mean, I got one of those antennas on my TV, but honestly, the only thing I get is like Telemundo. I don't see us getting 8K broadcast anytime soon, honestly. I don't think so. What version would you use to show someone that's never seen the film before? Which one would I show? I would probably show them the Blu-ray. I would probably show them the Blu-ray. Because even on like a top-of-the-line TV, man, yeah, it's a little tough. Yeah, I'd probably show them the Blu-ray. Because it's just easier to make things out. Sad to say. Man, sad to say. What's this? Heat? Question mark? Yeah, I'm gonna say it's about I would say it's about, listen, in my kitchen, it's about 85 degrees in my kitchen right now. Outside, maybe about 68 degrees. My kitchen, yeah. The heat is hot in my apartment. The girl is a shadow. She definitely a shadow. Look, this is another super dark scene. Hannah's about to go meet the guy at the chop shop. And it's during the day, but yet it looks like it's about to rain outside. It's so overcast. Oh man. So I probably should have put on the switch, my camera switch, but I was a little too lazy to do that. So that is when Pacino was outside, and that is not what it looks like, because you can see the little play button on the corner. It looks like it's blooming when it really isn't. There we go. So this is what it looks like in real. That's what that looks like in real life. And remember, if you saw the movie, he's outside at the chop shop, and he's checking out. He's having a little conversation with a guy here. And this is during the middle of the day. That's during the middle of the day, and it's really dim. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Man, hopefully they don't stop the stream, because YouTube is pretty good at picking up copyright, like right off the bat. That 4K heat isn't worth wasting projector lamp time. I run Region 1 DVD or the AC3 laser disc. Oh man, don't do that. The detail is definitely better on the 4K. It is better on the 4K. It's better on the Blu-ray too. Should I amp up the brightness on my 4K? Man, you could, but that's like, I haven't even tried that on my TV. Let me see what happens if I up the brightness on my set. See, once you have your picture set and calibrated, you shouldn't have to do that. But if you do want to, put it in a different mode, sure, I could see that definitely helps. Like, I'm gonna go in to my brightness. Damn, actually my brightness is on max. Alright, so if you go in and turn up your gamma, so I jacked up my gamma on max, and yeah, it's definitely bright. It's definitely better. But once you set your TV, once you get your TV calibrated, then man, that's a tough call. It's a tough call. What you want to do. Obviously, you can make it look better, obviously, if you change your TV settings, but you shouldn't have to do that, though. On the player, not the TV. Oh, see, I always do it on the TV. I never mess with the player's settings. So if I'm going to change something, I usually do it on the television. I have a couple of Laserdisc players and a bunch of movies. Got a couple of Laserdisc players. The last Laserdisc player I had was, I forgot the model number, but it was definitely a Pioneer. I don't recall anybody else making Laserdisc players besides Pioneer. I could be wrong on that. But I think the first Laserdisc I bought was I think it was the Crow on disc. I had the Crow, and I think I had the Crow in Top Gun. And shortly after I got Laserdisc, Toshiba came out with their DVD player, and I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to get rid of this Laserdisc. Because DVD was just better. And way smaller. There is no calibration standard that exists worldwide for the home market. It's a mess, yeah, boost the gamma, but watch out for overbright scenes as it may wash the image detail out. That is true. HDR is it's kind of all over the place, but I mean, like I said, man, obviously you could do whatever you want with your TV, but I try not to deviate from what my set is at. Like, you shouldn't have to adjust your display on a movie by movie basis. I mean, even with my gamma turned up, still kind of dark. It's just like always like constantly overcast. Pioneer 504 and Panasonic, both Autoreverse. That is true. You know, when I first bought the Laserdisc player, that's when I was like first getting into home theater, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, holy hell, I was like, how are they flipping the disc in this small box? Because the disc is way bigger than the box. I was like, I had no idea how that worked at the time. And I was like way younger. I was like, how does that disc flip inside that player? Because the player is nowhere near as tall as the disc. That Sony has a M800. What? That Sony has an M800, has a brightness on the 4K player. Tis true, most 4K players do have picture settings which you can adjust. But I would adjust it on my TV set, personally, rather than the Blu-ray player. The Crow THX standard, then there was AC3 Release. I only have the standard version release. It's a Sony. See, usually when you start tweaking these settings, it's always like you go and adjust the black levels, and sure, you can make them a little bit deeper, but then you start crushing detail, or contrast starts getting overblown, it starts getting a little too hot. There's always like side effects to these picture adjustments. That's why I always turn them all off, because there's always something that gets negatively affected once you start using these little contrast enhancements and black adjust, stuff like that. So I always keep them off. See, I can go in contrast enhancer, and it's just like, if you think the blacks are already crushing detail, it's even more so. It's like you start losing detail in like the folds in dude's pants here, Kilmer's pants. Lose detail in the car. So yeah, I don't use any of these settings. But hey, maybe you like it. What's your thoughts on audio control processor? I can't afford Trinov with Arendal speakers. The audio control processor, I mean, I had the old processor, which came out before the new style, but I had it when it like first came out, so it was really buggy and it just didn't work well, so I never followed up and did a review on it. So from what I hear, they fixed all the bugs, or at least most of them, but with my time with it, it wasn't very good. Just like my time with the Arcam. The Arcam AV40 also wasn't very good, because I think I was one of the first people to pick up an Arcam AV40, which the audio control processors are based off of, which the JBL processors are based off of. And I was one of the first to get them in my hands, and the software was just like really bad on them at the time. So yeah, I just never did follow up with the reviews on them because it just didn't sound good. I mean, they've been out now for a couple years. From what I hear, people seem to like them with some minimal bugs. The audio control that I had previously was pretty good. One of the better processors I've had. I mean, if it sounds anything like that, then I would say for sure pick one up, because audio control does make good products. I definitely want to upgrade my AVR from the 4700H with Klipsch speakers. Yeah, man, do it up. I always say just save your, save your spare change. Don't, if your system works good now, as is, just keep saving up a little bit more money to get what you want to get. There's nothing more that sucks just getting the upgrade bug and just buying something quick just because it's new, because then the following year comes along and then you're like, you get buyer's remorse. You're like, man, I should have waited a little bit longer. Now I got to go back and sell what I just bought at a loss. Now I got to save a little bit more to get the new thing. I say just save your money, get what you really want, and just be done with it, and not have to worry about it for a while. Because there's always new AVRs every year. There's always going to be a new receiver every year. There's always going to be a new whatever TV every year. The good thing about kind of getting processors and amplifiers is that typically the refresh cycle on processors every few years, maybe every 3 or 4 years, you might get a new processor that comes out, like a new replacement model, a newer version. So that's a good thing about going separates, is like, their upgrade cycle isn't yearly like it is with AVRs. And like with AVRs, it's like so minimal every year. Sometimes they take power away from you every year, or they add some stupid some dumb feature that you're not going to use, and then they charge you extra for it. They get smaller every year, they get lighter every year. But the good thing with separates is that, like I said, man, you're not upgrading every year, and if you save your money, you get a good enough amplifier. That amplifier could last you the rest of your life, or at least 10, 15 years or so. So the only thing that you'd be swapping out, maybe in the lifespan of an amplifier, is going to be the processor. Maybe you swap out processors every 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. I mean, if you bought yourself a Trinov back in 2015, I mean, we're going on, we're going to be pushing a decade before possibly they come out with a newer version, which, it sucks that it costs so much money, but the fact that it's been going for 8 years now, the Trinov has been going for 8 years, whereas like a Denon Marantz processor, or even like a Macintosh processor, it's already seen like 3 or 4 refresh cycles. So that's pretty impressive if you can get, you know, top of the line stuff and not have to worry about it. It's one of those, you know, buy once, cry once type of things. But I get it, it's a lot of money though. But yeah, man, save your pennies and get something you really want. How legit are Arendal 723 THX speakers? Man, there's some of the best speakers out there for the money, no doubt. I feel like those Arendal guys should be paying me a commission from all the speakers they've sold after I did my review, because damn, nobody knew what an Arendal speaker was. Now it seems like I get comments every day. Shane, I bought the Arendal speakers. I bought some 1723s. I bought some 1961s. I'm like, damn. Like, so many people have gotten rid of their clips for Arendals. But great speakers for the money. I think they're always like on back order. So yeah, man, if you could save your money up, get some. I have the B&W 683 S2 floor sanding speakers. Thinking of pairing it with a power amp DR3. Thoughts? We'll use it with the AVM 70 processor. Yeah, it does a great amplifier, man. Very powerful amplifier. Good sound. It's very, you know, I thought it was very kind of neutral amplifier. Not bright. Maybe a little dry sounding as well. I guess it would depend on what what kind of sound profile you like, but neutral, maybe more on the, you know, leaner side of neutral. Not bright, but, you know, more on the opposite end there. Super sticker. Whoa, George A. Wilson, man, thanks for the $49 super chat, man. Really appreciate that. Man, you could have used that. You could just join the channel. Listen, I have a, you know, if you didn't want to do that, you could have joined the channel, join the Patreon for like $1 a month or whatever. That's like $12 a year. Or I got a, for you guys that are interested, I have a channel membership, which is like $2 a month. That's like 24 bucks a year. But I do appreciate the $49 super sticker. Hi Shane, hello from Puerto Rico. What's up, Rivares? Shane, not sure if you know, but your review and Films at Home are getting a lot of heavy debate on Facebook groups regarding the HDR dimness. Man, I don't know what to tell you. It's a dim movie. I mean, I showed you guys here. It's dim. There's no getting around it. This is one of the brightest TVs, one of the brightest 4K TVs you can get right now. I mean, there's only like, what, I think the Z9K is probably brighter. Maybe the G2 is brighter. But yeah, even on, you know, my default calibrated settings, it's a dim movie. There's no getting around it. But that's good though. That's good. You know, a lot of people hated. I think when me and Brass Tacks originally had reviewed The Last Jedi, about how muted the color palette was, that like sparked up so much hatred in the forums. And because we did that review, I think 2 weeks, we got our copies 2 weeks before it actually hit the streets, before it, you know, hit the stores. And yeah, we had seen it and we said it was like so bad. It was like dim, it was just drab, it was gray, lacked contrast. And people were just hating on us in the forums. Facebook, the Bluray.com forums. And then people got it and they were just like, yeah, they're right. It looks like shit. And I think they're probably going to feel the same way about this. Now I'm gonna be fair. I did boost up my gamma right now. I did boost up my gamma about 2 ticks. It does look a little bit better. So I suppose if you wanted to bump up your gamma, it'll look better. Everyone is in denial. Emotiva 6 and Emotiva 5 in preamp all kill Klipsch RP. What? Oh, my bad. All kill. All Klipsch RP. I canceled my 4K Steelbook pre-order. I couldn't fathom spending $30 when I can get these Blu-ray that looks brighter for $6. Man, you could probably buy this on iTunes for $6. I know I did. I bought this on iTunes for $5.99 like 4 years ago. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. It's still a good-looking movie. Still a great movie. I'm at the part where De Niro's like talking to a dead man. As someone who prioritizes quality and detail over power and volume, what brand or setup would you point me towards? Great channel. Quality and detail. I guess you would have to elaborate on what brand or set. Are we talking about speakers, amplifiers? Are you talking about cables? Are you talking about speaker stands? A TV? You talking about integrated? You talking about a DAC? Or like, what are you talking about? Oh, here we go. We're at the restaurant scene. This is a tough one here. I gotta swing this around. Yeah, this is a tough one. First time I saw this, I was like, "Well, what is happening right now, man?" So that's Neil. My ISO's jacked up to 10,000 right now. You can see it's making everything look like it's blooming. But let me drop it down. So, alright, so my blooming is now gone. That's what it looks like in real life. And look at that. That's a floating head. That is a floating head. Whoops. All you can see is Macaulay's face. I believe that's maybe like there's a table behind him, but honestly, I don't know what's going on over his shoulder because it's pure black. There's nothing back there. If there is something behind him, I have no idea what it is. But keep in mind that he is in a restaurant right now. That is, I think, what, like chapter 26 or something. Tough, man, what a tough scene. I could see people, first-time watchers, just being... I know there was a lot of, like, hatred when Game of Thrones came out and it was, like, all dark. You know, this is kind of like the same situation. Whoa. There's another scene coming up with Hannah and his girlfriend. Where I think they're in like top of the restaurant and it's like just really dark. I'll pause that when it comes up. Yes, way too dark. Right now, see, I like this movie because, you know, I think somebody had mentioned it was like wasn't like good character development or anything like that in the movie, which I totally disagreed upon because it's like you follow everybody in the group, in Neil's group, and they've all got like their family issues, and then Neil has his little personal issues, and that he's kind of like a lonely dude, but then he gets caught up with Edie, you know, his newfound love interest. And then you got some character development with Hannah and his girl and his family. Natalie Portman trying to do the suicide thing, and her like sleeping with another dude. Then you got Chris and Ashley Judd and their family dynamic. Like, I think that I like how you get all that drama mixed in with them trying to rob a bank, you know. So you get those two dudes. It's like you're kind of rooting for De Niro and you're kind of rooting for Pacino at the same time, but really at the end, they're kind of both good guys. They're just doing what they got to do. But I guess the real good guy prevails in the end. Justice prevails in the end. I think it's like the perfect movie, man. It was like the best movie. Canceled my pre-order last night. Damn. Come on, man. Don't do that. Get the movie. Get the movie. Shootout scene and ending of Heat are all that matter to me. Yeah, man. The shootout scene is definitely. I'm ready for Tropic Thunder 4K now. Listen, Tropic Thunder is on iTunes. I have it on iTunes. I also have it on Kaleidoscape, and that also is not a drastic update from the regular Blu-ray as well. It's not as dim as this, but it's also not like a crazy upgrade. So don't expect it to be like magnificent. And I doubt it's going to get an Atmos update. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. Val Kilmer did an excellent job in this movie. Yeah, man. All these guys did an excellent job. Danny Trejo. Shit. Even he had a small role in it. Killed it in this scene. Right now we are at man, I forgot the dude's name here. At the bar. Dang, what's his name in real life? Wayne Grow. Wayne Grow's in the bar, and it's just like you can only see like the half of his face while he's drinking a beer. And this is with my gambit turned up too. Have you checked out Game of Thrones in 4K on HBO Max? I looked at Game of Thrones earlier today because I was going to watch it because I know the prequel's coming out. Because I had never watched the show, so I figured maybe I would watch the show before the new series drops. And as far as I know, I mean, at least not on my HBO Max, it's not in 4K, so I did not watch it. I'm probably gonna have to put out like a request to like Warner's to see if they can send me over like a box set or something like that. But it's not in 4K, at least not on my HBO Max. It's definitely not in Atmos. I don't know why, but I'm not gonna sit there and watch it when I know there's a 4K version out there. Funny how GTA 5 is a copy of Heat. Yo, there's so many movies that borrow from Heat. It's like influenced so many. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. This is when he was talking to his gal. Pacino was talking to his gal after dinner. And I'm gonna have to turn down the ISO again. $800. So this is, let me put my little play button there so you can see it. So you can see my play button is like on the verge of blooming, but it's not though. But this is where he's talking to his he's taking a phone call after he had dinner with his girl, and you can barely make out his tie. I believe he's standing in front of a gigantic window because you can see the reflection off his hand, barely over there on the left side of the screen. Yeah, super dark, super dark. I mean, that's pitch black. You know, I did read some reviews that said that there is no crushing of detail in this movie, and I was like, yo, are you guys afraid to tell the people what this actually looks like? Because that's just like some BS. If you're saying that there's no black crush in this movie, that's insane, because I'm showing you guys right now what it looks like. If that ain't black crush, I don't know what it is. That's just straight up crush. Blu-ray Definitive Edition Remastered 1080p from the original 4K scan of Heat is $5.99 on Amazon. It is only $6. Oh no, George Wilson, what are you saying? Don't buy an Apple TV. That's my player of choice. Apple TV. Listen, you got to get an Apple TV because all the good shows and all the good apps, all the new supported formats as far as streaming is concerned, is always going to come out on the Apple TV first, because that's like every new platform that comes out is going to, well, every new tech is going to always come out on the Apple product first, because more people have Apple stuff than they do Android stuff. Well, you know, streaming media player wise, more people have the Apple TV. So it's like, there's a new app that comes out with the new features, typically always comes out on the Apple TV first, because it's always just like, it's always one platform. It doesn't change. There's not a whole ton of variation amongst their players, because it's always the same year after year. Whereas the NVIDIA Shield, there's like so many different like versions of Android on these streaming players. It's hard to just like make one that stays relevant year after year, because Google or whoever the manufacturer is doesn't always like update it on a continuous basis. So it's kind of like their cell phones. Like, there's so many Android phones that there's not like one version that's always consistent across every single cell phone. And that's kind of what the NVIDIA Shield is. It's like so inconsistent when it comes to Android. And don't get me wrong, I've always had Android phones, but Jesus, I've got the Pixel 6 right now. This is the biggest piece of shit phone I've ever owned. Pixel 6. You would think Google, their own cell phone, would be the best Android phone out. It's such a shitty phone. So whenever somebody's like, yo, buy an NVIDIA Shield or an Android streaming player, they're always so like jank. There's always some bullshit going on with them. Yeah, just annoys me every time I try an Android streaming device. But hey, if you like it, you like it. Rivarez, I have the LG 43 UQ70 2022. What's the difference between entry-level HDR nits compared to high-end HDR? Oh man, entry-level nits, it's like huge. You probably getting like some 200 nits on your TV. It's like a drastically different. I mean, brightness, black levels, the black levels on that TV are probably skewing more gray than black. The contrast is probably not that great either. Oh, that 43 inches, you know. Yeah, man, just basically just everything across the board. Brightness, black levels, color volume. That's kind of like the main takeaways with like an entry-level TV. But mostly it's going to be your black levels. You probably have some really shit blacks on that TV. Not saying your TV's shitty. I'm just saying cheaper TVs tend to have really crap blacks. I only know this because I used to work at a big box store in the past, and I've seen all the cheap stuff and I've seen all the good stuff every day, so I know what the cheap stuff looks like. Do you have your HDMI range set to limited or unlimited? I had mine set to unlimited and would not clip content the TV couldn't produce as if I had 2,000 nits available. Well, what's the proper term? I do believe it should be on limited, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the color range goes from like 16 to like, what is it? 216 to what? Damn, now I gotta look this up. So limited, I know it's 16 something. The color space, right? Yeah, so you got yours on full RGB versus limited? I'm trying to think of what the numbers were. Yeah, 16 to 235. And then PC is 0 to 255. That's what you got going on. So yeah, I mean, for movies, you're going to want to keep it on limited if you want to get the most accurate colors. But mine's on limited. But your TV would not clip. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Cause that's that PC standard. Shield, look like, oh, you guys got shields, huh? Yeah, see, full is for PC. Shield is when you have the money and want so. Okay. I have a Roku too. I have like a Roku Ultra that I bought because I didn't think Apple TV had Atmos on Amazon. Then I came to find it did have it, and then it's like now I have a brand new Roku Ultra like just sitting in the box. If it's a Sony, keep it on auto. If you're talking a color space, it's going to revert to limited anyways. I believe if you put it on full, it's going to make everything bright. I could be mistaken on that, but I believe it makes everything brighter, and it's going to make your whites way whiter, blacks even blacker. Roku is cheap, easy, and it works. Yeah, Roku is definitely very consistent, kind of like an Apple TV is. Although I don't think the image quality is as good as, like, say, an Apple TV. Have you had luck passing Atmos and DTS-X through HDMI from macOS? I've never tried hooking up any of my laptops or my Macs to my home theater, so never tried it. At the 8K shootout, the Z9K looked totally washed out on the 4K demo. I bet it wasn't like that in person from the scores. The Z9K? I'm trying to remember. It was definitely like the brightest. when they were doing the peak lumens test, it was definitely 100% the brightest there. But was it washed out though? I'm trying to think. You know, because I looked at 3 of them pretty intently up close, and you know, there was one part where we were looking for shadow detail, where you had to look at one of the boxes, one of the black boxes. I think it was box like 16 or 17 on the grayscale, and you could see it. You could see it on the Z9, on the Z9K, but you could like barely make it out on the G2. I might have been tricking myself to thinking I saw it, but it was definitely better detail for the shadow detail test on the Z9K, I thought, over the Z2. But then it's like, is the local dimming kicking in during this part? Could it be better, could it be worse? So, you know, there's that. But as far as being washed out, I don't think it was washed out. I didn't find it to be washed out at all. I did think between the Z2 and the 9K, they kind of flip-flopped between, you know, matching the reference monitor. Sometimes the Z2 would look more like the monitor, sometimes the 9K would look like the monitor. So it was definitely a toss-up between those two. The Samsung was just, you know, clipping highlights. Everything was like purple. The screen uniformity was trash, pure garbage. The Samsung. People wonder why Samsung comes in last all the time, but damn, that TV was fucked. The only thing that I really didn't like about the Z2 was it was kind of purple. The left side of the screen was purplish, and there was that vertical band on the Z2 as well, on the left side. So it was like, no, my bad. Left side was purple, and the right side had this gigantic band on the side of it. I was like, damn, yo. I was like, Jesus Christ, if I spent $30,000, my TV was purple and had a vertical band on it. Oh my gosh. That is one of the bad things about OLEDs, is look at vertical banding. It's so bad. But the Z9K definitely had a little bit of vignetting in the corner, but good. But no, I wouldn't say that it was washed out. I didn't think so. Z2 is king. Honestly, man, like I said, man, you can go either way between the Z9K and the Z2. I mean, if I had to pick one, I would probably, you know, I do feel they cheated a little bit because they turned off the ASBL, the backlight limiter on the Z2. Like, if they did not turn that backlight limiter off, then the Z2 would have just killed it for just brightness in general. But you know, once they turned that off, then the brightness is very close, if not right there with the Z2 for like peak brightness. But man, I felt like that was a slightly unfair advantage because they turned that off. Because the Z2 might have won if it was turned off. It was kept on. I thought the Z2 had the best contrast most times. I saw how horrible the dirty screen was on the Samsung. Yeah, the Samsung was trash. Give on to yeah. Slate image bending on Laserdisc with certain images. DVD Region 1 shows better watching the shootout scene. I recommend Region 1 DVD of Heat. And you must like that 480i. You must like that. I'm on a Z9D FB group, and people complain the Sony got second place in the 8K category, even though the Z2 is like 2.5 times the price. Well, I'll tell you what, that Z2 is definitely not worth 2.5 times the price. There's no way it was. Just the sheer fact that it had vertical banding and purple, I wouldn't buy it. Just for that fact alone. Just for that, I would definitely go with the Z9K, because you're going to be watching some shows and you're going to see that purple on the left side of the screen. And I'll tell you what, man, most OLEDs that I've seen, there's always some purple tint somewhere in these OLEDs that I've always seen. And I've seen a bunch of OLEDs, vertical banding too. I always see vertical bands in these OLEDs. That's like some stuff that I can't get past not seeing, especially the OLEDs that I have as well. I can see that shit, and it's annoying. So for me, I would have picked the Z2 personally. I mean, if I was gonna pay something, if I was gonna pay for it, all things being equal, you know, if the prices was the same, for sure I mean 9K. Z9K or X95K? Man, which one is better? I'm not gonna lie, they both look very similar. I would have to see them side by side, but you know, they didn't have at least not when I was there, they didn't have the 4K next to the 8K. I think they might have did that after the fact, after the show was done, but I wasn't around for that. I went and caught the train. But like I had the option to get the Z9K or the X95. So obviously I went with the 95K because I would much rather have a 4K TV for the 4K movies rather than having it upscaled and potentially making it either look better or either making it look worse. So I went for the 1-to-1 pixel mapping of just going 4K. So I mean, that's what I chose. So I would tell you to go with X95K personally. Were you seeing vertical banding on the QD OLEDs? Honestly, I didn't get up close during the 4K shootout. I was only up close during the 8K shootout. I was a little busy doing all the camera work for the 4K on Saturday, so I really didn't pay too much attention. Only from what I could see from my point of view, which was like, you know, behind the judge's table there against the back wall. So I didn't really pay attention too much to what was going on with the 4K stuff. I just know that the QD OLED was the A95 was just as bright as the X95, which is kind of blew my mind. I was like, damn, I was like, yo, that OLED is just as bright as my TV. And the soft dialogue scene where Neil goes to see what happened to Trejo. Yeah, this movie definitely has some soft dialogue, no doubt. No doubt. Z9K should be brighter and have better blacks, but is it worth the price to you? You know, they played the scene, I think they played that scene with the horses off the Spears disc on both sets. And I think, well, I know that as far as that 4000 nit demo, the 95K and the Z9K looked the same to me, because I figured that 4000 nit demo was going to look the best on the Sonys because they were so bright, because they're both mini LEDs. But what the Z2 does is it dims it down, so in order for it to not clip the highlights, not to blow out the whites, it dim the entire picture level down so you could see more what was going on. So that's how most of the detail was retained over the 9K. Because I remember if you had to pick which one was doing tone mapping better, you know, you're given a brightness with the Z2, but you're retaining brightness on the 9K. So it was kind of, I guess it's one of those things where you got to choose which one is better for your personal tastes. But it's like, man, yeah, like the brightness on the Z2 was just like, it was like way dim. It was almost like watching Heat on Blu-ray versus Heat on 4K. What's up, Devin Lott? Hey, Shane, good to see you working on a night move. I'm in serious debate on getting a 95K or my G2 LG. Made me a believer, but now the A95K stunned me. I will say the A95K, from what I had seen, maybe the most impressive TV in the 4K shootout. No doubt, for sure. So, I mean, if you're looking at that 65-inch range, then I would go for the 95K myself, personally, between those two TVs. The Z9K only has one 8K HDMI port. I think it's HDMI 3, if I'm not mistaken. Either 3 or 4, but I think it's 3, though. Oh, man, we got the spammers. Spammers are here. I can even see faint grain on the DVD as at the cinema on 35mm of most nighttime scenes. It looks decent, better than Collateral, as that used 35 digital, which was a mess and looked like made for TV. Man, I'm a fan of Collateral. Collateral would be my second favorite Michael Mann film. I liked how he mixed the digital with the film, because it was like certain scenes, it was like you know, you get like the cinematic 35mm look, and then you have almost that soap opera-esque look with the 1080p stuff, where it was almost like it puts you outside in real time with Vincent and with Jamie Foxx's character. So I kind of liked how that meshed together. And I think he used that again with like a Black Hat and Miami Vice. So, like, he didn't use it. I don't think he used it that much in Collateral. So I liked how that kind of meshed together in Collateral. I wish Collateral was a better looking Blu-ray, or 4K, but it wasn't though. In HDR, I think the Z9K is just on another level. That's where it just looks stunning. Yeah, definitely the Z9K is pretty great. I mean, the Z9K looks very similar to the X95K. Very similar. They're both super bright sets. I don't know how much brighter it is than the X95K, but I mean, from what I saw at the shootout, I was just like, those are easily like the two brightest sets that really popped out, was the 95 and the Z9. The Classic version of Heat is 90 gigs. Is that because of the codec or file format of HVEC? You are correct. It is 90 gigs, whereas the disc is only 66 gigs, which technically is probably about maybe like 50 gigs, maybe 52, maybe 54 gigs. But yeah, they don't need to save space. Like, they can make it as big as they want. Because I think even, what is it, Endgame? I think Endgame is on. They put Endgame on like a 66 gig disc, if I'm not mistaken, whereas the Kaleidoscape version is like 119 gigs. So it's almost twice the size, and you could tell the difference between the disc version and the Kaleidoscape version. Like it's cleaner looking for sure. It almost has like a 3-dimension. I don't want to be like 3D, but it's just way cleaner looking between the K-scape and the physical disc version of Heat. And that's one of the reasons why Kaleidoscape costs more money, because you know, those big movies like that, like they don't have to worry about dumbing down compression and fitting it on a small disc. The movie's not over already. They are underneath the subway. He's planning to go kill Waingro, I think. Can you explain the Kaleidoscape server setup? It's just, my Kaleidoscape setup is just, I got the Strato S, and that's it, man. It's just a Strato S. It's just one box, and it just plugs right in. Yeah, nothing really special about it. What we got here? I think, man, you could probably buy a Strato on like eBay for, because I know I've had some guys that bought Kaleidoscapes for like under $3,000, so you might be able to get yourself a good deal on eBay, because they are still like, geez, what are they, like $8,000-9,000 now for like 12 terabytes or something? Like on mine, I only buy the movies on Kaleidoscape that I know I'm gonna watch again. Like Heat, I bought. Tropic Thunder, I bought. You know, like Batman, Man of Steel, stuff like that, I bought. But like other stuff, like the Marvel movies, I don't think I have one Marvel movie on there, because I'm never gonna watch them again. I mean, I'll have them on Blu-ray and then I'll rip them to my Zapedi, but only the movies that I really, really like, I pick up on Kaleidoscape. And I usually get them when they're on sale, because they typically every week they'll have like $10 movie sales, especially for the Warner Brothers stuff. Warner Brothers stuff is like $40, but maybe like once a month you can get it for like $10, maybe $15 here and there. But I usually wait for those sales to hit, and I pick them up for a few bucks. Yeah, $12,500 for a Kaleidoscape. Yeah, dude, I would look on like the Facebook forums or on like eBay, because I know people dump them regularly for a few grand. I'm pretty sure you could probably get a Strato S for a couple grand, because they discontinued those for the Strato C and the Terra C, and I got the Strato S. Value Electronics sells the Kaleidoscape. Yes, they do. If you give them a ring, tell them tell them you know me. They will, probably get you a better price. Gotta hit the rack later. See you later, 69 Dart Man. I know at George A. Wilson might have found a Holy Grail Macintosh home theater set. Look at that. Devil Knott getting a Macintosh home theater. I still got my Macintosh amps. What's better, Sony HT-A9 or plating Monaco 5.1 Wysa or Sonos Arc with subs and 1S rears? What is better? I'd probably go with the Sonos, just because it's definitely more It's a much more flexible system, because if you're done with the ARC, you can move the ones to a different room and use them just for music. And then if you want to go back to home theater, you can put them back in your home theater room. So, or if you just want to send music to your rear speakers, you can do that. If you want to listen to music with the rear speakers with the subwoofer, you can group them that way. Or if you just want to listen to music with the ARC and the subwoofer, you can do it that way. So you got definitely, the Sonos is a much more flexible system, which you probably get more usage out of your money with. So I'll probably go with the Sonos setup rather than the other ones. Should I go for the case server and Vault from Kaleidoscape? Should you go for that? Man, if you got the funds for it, I would do it. Sure. I mean, if you got a TV, I would say if you are a TV guy, I probably wouldn't do the Kaleidoscape. If you have a projector and a big screen and a private home theater room, I would do the Kaleidoscape. Because if you get a Kaleidoscape and you're on a TV, you probably got Dolby Vision on your TV. You're probably not going to like the fact that Kaleidoscape doesn't do Dolby Vision. You're probably going to have some kind of a remorse there. You're going to have buyer's remorse and say, shit, I should have just bought the Blu-ray instead. Because sometimes, a lot of times, the Dolby Vision version of whatever's on Kaleidoscape will look better. So if it's going to be in your home theater, I would do Kaleidoscape. If it's going to be on a TV, then I would just buy something else. Get a Zapiti. Canuck Audio Mart or US Audio Mart is a good alternative to eBay. Very true. Especially if you're, I don't know if US Audio Mart sells if you got to pay fees for that or not. I got a US Audio Mart story. I was selling some Kef LSX speakers. I know they just came out with the Kef LSX, 2s, like just recently, like last month or so. But I had the original ones. They were like little small white bookshelf speakers that are wireless. Great sounding speakers, by the way. So I put them on US Audio Mart, and I had shipped them off to the guy. The guy got the speakers. He inspected it, and I guess there was a little like black mark on it that it looks like there was maybe like a drop of paint on it or something, just like a droplet of like black paint, maybe ink. So he was like, "Hey, I got the speakers, and there's a mark on it. I would like my money back, or I would like you to like refund me like 50% back." And the speakers, I think I sold them for like $600. They're like $1,200. They were either $1,200 or $1,400 for the pair, but I think I sold them for like $600 or $700. I sold them for like half price, and I covered shipping. So he had like messaged me and was just like, "Hey man, this is not like the ad. I would like my money back or a partial refund." I was like, "Hey man," I said, "buying it as is." I was like, "I don't know where that mark came from, but it's not in any of the pictures. So maybe you put it there." And I said, plus, I covered the shipping. In the ad, it said calculate shipping, which he didn't do. He just sent me the $600. But I said, it's my first sale, so I was like, whatever, I'll just pay for the shipping. Since I didn't have to pay any fees on it. So he went through PayPal, and actually I think I did have to pay PayPal fees. So yeah, I did. So I went through PayPal, he sent me the money. I was like, yeah man, so I'm not going to give you 50% back because I paid for shipping. You didn't pay for shipping. I was like, so you automatically saved like $45 because I had to ship it to California. So he's like, no, I'm going to mail you back your speakers. So he mailed me back. I'm going to say a couple days later, I got a notification from FedEx that I had a package there. So I went to FedEx. There was a priority envelope from the guy that I sold the speakers to. So I signed for the package. I signed for the envelope. I ripped it open. There was a note inside that basically said, thank you for the speakers, and that I wasn't going to get my money back. So then I put a complaint in with US Audio Mart and PayPal. And then I guess because I had signed for the package, that per PayPal, their buyer protection states that he had returned my package to me because I had signed for it. So they were like, oh, well, he sent you the package back, so you got your package, so you can't get your money back. Then I said, listen, I said, I sent him a 10-pound pair of speakers. He sent me back a 1-ounce envelope. I was like, can't you guys see the difference between the weight between these two packages? And they were just like, they're like, well, if this is a cyber fraud, you're going to have to go through the cyber fraud division through like the FBI. I was like, what the? I was like, what are you guys talking about, man? I was like, clearly, this is like fraud. This is like PayPal fraud. But they sent me over. I was going to fill out the cyber fraud form through the FBI, which, you know, that's not going to go anywhere. So I called him up. Actually, I emailed him and I was just like, yo, are you going to send me the money? I say, this is a nasty joke that you sent me an envelope with a piece of paper in it, telling me I should be careful to who I sell to. Then he was just like, you know, lesson learned, blah, 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 blah. And I said, hey, I said, this is my first time selling on here. I said, I know your name. I know where you live. I said, if you want, you can Google me and you can find out who I am, and I will like dox you online on my channel if you do not give me my speakers back. And then he was like, he calls me up like a second later. He goes, what are you talking about? He's like, what are you going to do online? I said, why don't you Google me on YouTube and find out who I am. So he looks me up really quick. He goes, oh, you're an audio reviewer. I was like, yeah. I said, either you send me my speakers back or you send me my money back. He goes, oh, I apologize. He goes, I was going to send you your money back anyways. I just wanted to hold on to it for a little bit. I wasn't going to keep it. I said, send it back right now, or else your information goes online and everybody in the audio community is going to know that you're a piece of shit and you tried to rob me. And so I got my money back in like fucking 1 minute later. So moral of the story is, be careful who you're selling to or buying from on US Audio Mart, because PayPal protection, buyer protection is just like absolute shit. Like the first time I almost gotten took advantage of on selling something on eBay or US Audio Mart. And like, it's like PayPal doesn't do shit for you. But that is my US Audio Mart story. Man, I even took pictures and everything of this guy's envelope he sent me. But what do we got here? Good morning from the UK. Just finished a night shift. Smash the like button. Quick question. I'm looking at replacing my SB2000 for 2 monolith THX subs. Worth a upgrade or not? SB2000s overly monolith. Would I do that? What other subwoofers could you get over the monolith? That's pretty good. You know what subwoofers I like? I mean, the monolith is pretty. Those are pretty robust subwoofers. I mean, they'll definitely. I'm pretty sure they're going to outperform the SB2000s, no doubt. You could also look into the SU subs, or HSU, however you want to pronounce it. Shoe subs. I mean, remember when I had reviewed those? I think those are 15s. It was like the VTF Mark II. I think they were like $900 at the time when I reviewed them. Those are probably one of the better subwoofers that you can get for the money. I would venture to say it would probably outperform the monolith subwoofers, the 210s. So I would look at those subwoofers. You could probably go a little bit cheaper if you want to go save a little bit more money. Check out the SW15 from Stark. I mean, I got down to like got down to like 8 hertz. Got down to like 8 hertz with those with that subwoofer. It's crazy. I would check that out as well. I don't know how much the THX subs are, but you know, those Stark subs are 15s. Those things rock. I guess it depends on your budget too. Like, what's your budget? How much is a monolith 10-inch? Let's see. Monolith 10. Oh, they're only, what are they, 650? V2. Oh, that's a pretty good price, 650. Damn, I thought they were $1,000. Okay, well, I mean, I would check out the HSU subs. I think they're $900. But yeah, I'm pretty sure those will outperform the SB2000s, no doubt. So is US Audio Mart a no-go? Man, I don't know. I just had one bad seller experience with them, so I don't know how other people do their business on US Audio Mart. Mr. Spare Change, would you ever do video of top 100 200 Blu-rays worth upgrading to 4K discs? Like a quick rundown, 5-10 minute video. A crazy story, bro. I got a Jail Fathom 12 first gen. I think top 10 or 200 within 10 minutes. Yeah, that's a lot of research for a 10-minute video. I don't think I'd be able to do that in 10 minutes. Shit, man, we did a top 5 with Elin Osborne. We did a top 5 that took us 30 minutes. That was only 5 movies. Could you imagine if I did 100? That would be like a fucking 3-hour. That'd be a 3-hour movie. It goes the same for eBay or Amazon as third-party seller. They side with the customer, so hard if you have 0 sales or comparison very low. I've had good local buys through Canuck Audio Mart. Yeah, man, oh man. I would usually sell on eBay, but eBay had started this year that if you sell something over $600, you got to fill out a 1099 form. So it's like, not only do you get stuck with like 13% eBay fee, but now you got to pay taxes as well. And if you happen to go PayPal route, that's another 3% or so. So I mean, you got to spend so much money just to sell anything on eBay anymore. It's fucking horrible. I haven't sold on eBay for like 2 years now, or a year and a half. Didn't list on FB or Craigslist, so it was a good resource for me. I mean, I would probably try Facebook and Craigslist. Since you don't have to do any fees, you could just be like, you know, cash and carry. Do that shit in like parking lot or something. Loading the blue. Oh yeah, Warner Brothers the same, but the color tint is okay. I'm not sure what I did with the director's edition cut. I think I binned it. LOL. Has Dolby True HD, and later ones use DTS HDMA. Oh, you're right. I think, wasn't Heat on HD DVD at one point in time? I think Heat was on HD DVD with True HD. I could be mistaken on that, but I think it was an HD DVD. For sure. Yeah, I'm upgrading some of my Blu-rays to 4K disc at a slow pace. Thanks. Is that the same dude? Yes. Doing a 200 list would be pretty tough. Shit, I don't even know if I can list. I don't even know if I can name 200 movies. But we are. So I've been talking to you guys for exactly 2 hours, and we are just coming up to the bank heist. I had no idea the bank heist was like 2 hours in. Is it 2 hours? Yeah, well, it's hour 40, hour 42 in Bank Heist. Best scene. Does Heat have Warner Brothers logo intact? Oh, that's a good question. Man, let me see. Are you sure you want to cancel? Damn. Yeah, the Bank Heist doesn't happen until chapter 30. Crazy. Seems. Let's go back to chapter 1. I think it just starts off like Village Road show. Let me start that again. You think AK movies would come first to Kaleidoscape? Do I think it'll come first to Kaleidoscape? No, it'll probably come. I'm pretty sure AK would come first to streaming. I mean, from what I'm hearing, Apple TV is gonna come. There's supposed to be an AK version of Apple TV coming out. If anything, it'll come out on Apple TV first. I mean, shit, man. Kaleidoscape hasn't even adopted 3D, so Kaleidoscape hasn't even adopted Dolby Vision. So I doubt it's gonna get AK. At least not till it starts getting more popular, or if it ever gets popular. Whoa. Have you heard about a company called Tone Winner? I have heard a company called Tone Winner. It looks, you know, I'll probably save my money, get a little, I'll probably save my money, get something a little bit better than a Tone Winner. Oh, it does say Warner Brothers Presents. Okay. So yes, I'm sure the original Warner Brothers Blu-ray has it. Yes, it does say presented by Warner Brothers at the beginning of the movie. So they did not get rid of that. All I was hoping for was a nice HDR grade with some pop for 4K, and they did the opposite. Here we go, coming up on the bank scene again. Val Kilmer is just smashing dudes with his gun. Everybody's getting pistol whipped in the bank. What's this? Would you say Heat 4K is worth getting just solely on the sound aspect? Well, I mean, if you got the Blu-ray ready, then it sounds exactly, it's the same mix. It sounds exactly the same. If you've never seen the movie, or if you don't have the movie, then yeah, I would pick it up. Here we go. Wait till these guys get outside in the street. Still gotta say, this has one of the best 5.1 mixes IMO. Very true. Great score. Great score. You know, obviously the gun shootout is great. The last part is great at the airport. That's awesome as well. This whole inside the bank is like dark. Look at this. Uh, 2017 Heat Blu-ray is 24-bit. 2009 is 16-bit. 2017 sounds louder and smoother. I don't even know which one do I have. I'd have to check. I don't know what I got. I know I've got mine ripped. I have no idea which one I have. The Olympics for the last two was broadcast in AK. Was it? Probably Japan, right? Shane, have you seen Den of Thieves? Have I seen Den of Thieves? I feel like I have seen that movie. I don't remember what it was about, though. Is that with John Bernthal? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did see that with Gerard Butler. Yes, I did see Den of Thieves. One of those rare movies that Gerard Butler has been in recently that was like okay. All right, we're gonna get out into the street here. I'll probably log off after this whole bank part. Man, look at this. Look at this part. So this is where Hannah's just about to go bust in. Great shot. It looks like he's about to fall asleep there. So you can see where's my play button? Oh, my play button's not even there. So I gotta bring that down to like, there we go. So that is right before they go meet in the street. And that's like broad daylight, but look how dark it is. Like it's nightfall in that car. Man, that's crazy. Look at that. Look how overcast that looks. I don't know if that's coming through on the stream or not, but dang, whoops. That actually looks brighter. It looks brighter on the TV. I mean, it looks brighter on the screen. All right, that's probably what that is. Oof. Look at the detail in the jacket. Actually, that could go up just a bit. There we go. Yeah, that looks brighter. That looks brighter on in the stream than it does in person. But let's get off that before they copyright me. Man, inside the bank night. Inside the bank. Bright light from outside through the windows to the inside. Actually, you know what? Let me throw on the Blu-ray. Let's check out the Blu-ray here, eh? So they used real guns with blanks and had mics placed strategically all along the street. Big reason for the realistic sound, unique sound in the shootout. Well, I know he picked that street because it had the tall buildings, so he would get the reverb from the buildings, from the bullets, well, from the guns ricocheting off the buildings. I mean, I'd be curious to see what they came up with, because he said they made a mix with actual like sound effects rather than the actual sound effects. He said they came up with some pretty cool effects, but it just sounded better with the real stuff. Do you think it is time to retire and upgrade my Fathoms first gen, and what would you recommend, or no need to upgrade? Looks overcast. What would you get for the JLs? I mean, man, listen, if they sound good, they sound good. Speakers are one of those, speakers and subs is one of those things where it's like, if it's good, it's good. If you're happy with it, I would just keep it. I mean, sometimes I miss my my MK speakers, my S150s. So I mean, they still sound good. I mean, if you can hear some limitations on them, if they don't hit hard enough or if they don't dig low enough, then I would say upgrade. Otherwise, I would say just keep them. Wonder why man doesn't really make movies anymore. Guy has some Stone Cold classics. He collateral less than Mohicans. Well, he did direct. He's worked on that Tokyo Vice on HBO Max, which, you know, if you like the crime drama, Tokyo Vice, pretty damn good show. It's got Ansel Elgort from Baby Driver. It's got dude from Batman Begins. Asian dude. I forgot what his name is. And that's a good show. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, kind of like Heat-esque. This is this is the Blu-ray. This is 1080p Blu-ray. Let me see if I can get that right. Can we get that right? Oops. Trying to get it to match what it looks like in person. So this here well, so we saw that recently on the 4K. This is the regular Blu-ray. You can tell it's already brighter. It looks like they're in the middle of the daytime. I mean, don't get me wrong, the black is still pretty black here, but you can see his hat, how his jacket has some detail in it. Look at that, man. Just, yeah. Look at that. Come on, 4K. I wish the 4K was this bright. If we can get the resolution of the 4K into this brightness, would have been a much better transfer. Would have been much better. But damn, they had to go and gimp it. Man, I feel like I might have given it too high of a score when I was like 7.5. I felt like I should have given it maybe like a 6.5. Man, this Blu-ray is just like, fuck. This is a good looking Blu-ray. Man, that is a tough recommend now that I'm looking at it. Nothing really like looking at it back and forth. You can definitely see that the 4K is definitely tighter looking. It's definitely cleaner looking, but this has just got the brightness. And the color's just better on the Blu-ray. Color's better. The whites are better. Blacks are better. That's a tough one. I guess it really depends on what you're looking for. 'Tis a tough one. I almost don't want to go back to the 4K. But I will anyways. Yeah, but I think a first time watch, if you never saw the movie, I would probably go with the Blu-ray. Because I think if you never seen the movie, you'd probably get pissed at it. You'd be thinking to yourself, what the hell's going on? I can't see anything. I always thought the Warner Blu-ray was solid. Didn't pick up the 2017 release, waited for 4K. Man did Black Hat 2015. See the hard to find DC if you can. Black Hat, yo, that movie. I believe that was the one with Thor, right? Chris Hemsworth. I didn't like that one at all. Man, look at this. Yeah. Look at that. I just put the 4K back on, and it's, man, what a drab difference between the two. It looks like two totally different movies. Disney is woke with 4K. Disney is woke with 4K, woke with sound mixes. Too quiet. I settle on Yamaha 5200 preamp. Hits all bells and whistles for now. Well, you just got it for $600. Huh. That thing is like, that thing was a lot of money. CX 5200. Damn, that was a good deal if you got that for $600. Yeah, it was like $2,000 for that. 6A 5200. Accessories for Less has it. Yeah. Damn, that's a good find right there. I believe that was the last version before they came out with the RX-A8. I'll tell you what, man, the RX-A8 is... I don't know what Yamaha was thinking with these new designs, but they're so... Like, compared to what you got, the 5200? Jeez. I don't know what's happening with Yamaha's design this year. They're like so cheap. Heard the UHD is the same transfer used on the Blu-ray. Probably why the Blu-ray looks so good even at 1080p. I must have whatever the Blu-ray I have. If the 2017 is dim like this, then I must have the older. I must have the older one then. Because yeah, I just did the back and forth again, and it is a night and day difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K. Like, night and day difference. Last of the Mohicans, great Michael Mann movie. I have not seen that one in a long time. What was the big line from Last of the Mohicans? What does he say? He says, that's right, he goes, no matter where you go, I will find you. Wet hair, Daniel Day-Lewis, looking all in shape. How many times have I said, wherever you go, I will find you. Neil Hansen, the previous lineup was sweet looking. Yeah, man, Yamaha had like the best built AVRs. It was like Yamaha. I remember back in the day. Remember that double stack Denon? I think Pioneer and Denon had these AVRs that were like double stacked. It was like class AB, and then they had like the AVR was on, like the preamp was on top of it. One of you guys knows the model number I'm talking about. I remember Onkyo had a receiver where they had cards, kind of like what the NAD has right now. They had cards you can slide. You're supposed to be able to slot in and out for upgrades, but that never took off. I miss those old receivers. That's when receivers were like, geez, like $4 or $5 grand, and they were just like monsters. Hey Shane, I set my gamma at -2, 2.4 on my 65-inch 900F. Is this the kind of HDR transfer where they ain't gonna fly? Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one when you go back and forth with this movie and the Blu-ray. It's a tough one. Tough choice. you got brightness on one hand, but then you got clarity on the other. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The Anthem AVM 70 is cool. Too much money for not having no HDMI 2.1. The Onkyo 875 was a great receiver. Was that the one that I'm thinking about? Onkyo 875. Was that the one with the cards? I don't think that was the one I'm thinking about. But yeah, Onkyo had some great designs too. I mean, they all had like the front panel that dropped down. But, and then they all just kind of went away from it. I don't know what's going on. Marantz has always had that shitty porthole though. I always hated the Marantz little porthole LCD on the front. From what I read online, the dimness is from the HDR grade on top, but it's the same transfer. Not sure if that's true though. Possibly. Possibly. I could see that. Sure. Last of the Mohicans was awesome at the CIC THX screen. Not seen there, heard there another movie since 1990, but was voted 8th best THX on the planet on the base. I don't think I've ever been to a THX theater before. Are you doing a review of the XW5000? I was supposed to do a review on the 5 or 6000, but I've been waiting forever for Robert to get him in the store. I highly doubt I'm gonna get it in for a review. I really do. I wouldn't bet any money on it. Putting the A95K in the bedroom and the S95B in the living room, bright room. I heard Integra went out of business. Did Integra go out of business? I don't think they went out of business, did they? I think they got bought out or something like that. Integra, come on, man. What is going on here? I had the, you know, when I started off the channel, when I started off the YouTube channel, I had an Integra home theater. It was an Integra and Macintosh, or Integra and Rotel. I mean, it looks like they're still going pretty good right now. Got the DRX 7.3. They're still making receivers, so I don't look like they're out of business. An unmatched lineup. They still have not changed their designs. You know, Integra is always like the high-end Onkyo, custom integrator friendly Onkyos. Best place to purchase a rack. Hey man, I'm always going to tell you to go to, you know, call up Robert. Call Robert at Value Electronics. He sells Sanus racks and Middle Atlantic racks. I've got one of each, and the Middle Atlantic racks definitely better built than the Sanus racks. You know, the Sanus rack actually came to me slightly bent, and like when I went to go put my Macintosh amp into it, let's just say that it kind of cracked the glass on my Mac amp, and I had to get that shit replaced. And to replace a glass on a Macintosh amp is like $700. So if I was going to get a rack, I'd get a Middle Atlantic rack because steel is hardened, whereas the Sanus is softer. So get yourself a Middle Atlantic rack. They're a little pricey though, a bit pricey. Blade Runner 2049 has Oro. You know, I had that disc. I don't know what I did with it. I can't find it, but I know I've had it at one point in time. Are you going to do a review of Mad VR? I don't know. I don't know. You know, they're supposed to get one in at Value Electronics. I don't know if they placed the order. I know I had asked them about it, and I think there's like a 4 or 5 month wait because of the graphics cards. So, I mean, if they did order one, then they probably still have about 3 or 4 months to go, because the last time I spoke to them, it was about a month ago. But I think the holdup was with the graphics cards. Hi Shane, do you share your height channels at 80 or higher? Secondly, have you ever mixed, ported, and sealed subs in your HT? My height channels are at 45. Actually, all my speakers are at 45 hertz. I think the only ones I have at 80 hertz are my wide channels, because I've got these little XTZ speakers, and I think those only go down to like 80 or so. Those are called the XTZ I can't think of what they're called now. XTZ speakers. Oh, you know what? Somebody asked me about a subwoofer earlier. I forgot the XTZ subs. Them things rocks. They're like $900. I can't think of another subwoofer at $900 is better. Damn, what was that speaker called? Oh, Atmosphere. So I have these as they're my wide channels. Damn, they're only $275 too. They're pretty cheap. I didn't realize they were that cheap. You get a pair of these. Let me share this with you. Yeah, I think, what is the 80 hertz? Let me share my screen. Chrome tab. Man, oh, there it is. So these are what I have as my wide channels. These are the XTZ S2 Atmosphere. They are only $275 for the pair. Ideally, I would want to get all matching speakers, but hey, they sent them to me, so I wasn't going to turn them down. So I was like, hey, perfect. I'll just put them as my wide channels. I believe it's a concentric. It's got a concentric driver, yeah. So the tweeter is in the center. So that's what I got. I think I've got across to like 80. Yeah, these are like crossed to 80 hertz. I think that's the only speaker that I have that's crossed to like 80 hertz. Very cool speaker. Very cool. Very nice. Nice high frequency detail in these little guys. They do the job. How do I close this? Yo, what is going on here? What speakers am I running now? I still have the PSB PWM speakers. Those are, I gotta do the review on those, man. I'm like so backed up with reviews, not even funny. I know these guys are getting anxious too. They're like, yo, where's the review, Shane? Let's see if I can bring that up. These are the PSB PWM 2s on-wall speakers. Let me share the screen. Oops, my bad. I hit the back button by mistake. Share screen. So I've got these I got these guys right now. These are the PWMs. Very nice speakers. They're super slim. These are the 2s. They got the 2s and the 3s and the 1s. So they're, you know, they're slim like that. They look very much like my Martin Logan SLM speakers, but a bit beefier. There's more bass. But that's what I got on my wall right now. Behind my screen and on my wall. But I'm going to move on from those soon, I hope, for the P8, P6. I got these. I got these in not that long ago, so I'm going to replace those PSBs with these Procellas, which are pretty cool. These are the Mark IIs. So I'm going to have 3 of these behind my screen, and then the other, I have the Mark 1s, which I'm going to move to my side and my back speakers. And then I'm going to wait for them to send me some height speakers. So then I'll have an all Procella system up in the theater. So that will be fun. Why don't you try towers as wides? They really expand the front stage with appropriate content. I can't do towers at all in my theater because I don't have that much room. They're too big. I have no room for towers. Trust me, I've tried. I have definitely tried. But, alright guys, we're going to log off. Anyways, as you guys can see, that heat is indeed a very dim transfer. Would I recommend this one over the Blu-ray? That's a tough choice. Like I said in my video, tough choice. But anyways, thanks for hanging out for the past 2.5 hours. I'm logging off. Thanks for watching. See you guys again in the next video. Thanks for your questions too.